The Dimagiba family has two children. Their children are Don Gabriel and Don Nathaniel. This family is admired by their workers because they see how good they are as parents to their children. When their children were young, they were cared for and raised in the fear of the Lord, disciplined, responsible, and educated. Many years ago, they had no idea how cruel Don Augustus and Doña Agata to their children. They are good in the eyes of many people but constantly fight for money. Don Augustus is a womanizer. He gambles daily, and when he saw his children inside their house, he treats them differently. Don Augustus and Doña Agata fight all the time. Without knowing, their children witnessed all of their fights. Because of this, their children were affected. Gabriel started drinking, smoking, gambling, and other vices, while Don Nathaniel was helping with the chores of their hacienda. Days later, his mother decided that they would divide their property, but suddenly, Don Nathaniel does not accept that his part is small. Later on, Don Nathaniel hates his mom and his brother so much. A few days later, Don Augustus saw that Doña Agata's body was lying in their house, dead and full of blood. He immediately called his son Don Gabriel and Nani Usawa. He then called the police and investigators, and they immediately took action on the incident.
Now, we are confused about what happened, or what are the circumstances that may lead to this pitiful crime. The investigators saw a stab wounds in the body of the victim without the tool, and it was discovered that there was a tool mark around the room. They investigated the crime using tool impression as evidence. First, they took a photo of a tool mark with the scale. The tool suffers severe damage, and it gives characteristic features that leave behind a distinctive impression at the scene. This may occur by the object impressing its shape or by blood being transferred between the surface or both. These visible impressions or the pattern prints left at the scene has been used to link the observed marks to a class of objects, or if sufficient detail is present, recovered to a specific object. The cast itself will be a negative of the original mark and so should not be directly compared with the suspected tool. Instead, the suspected tool or the suspected instrument can be used to make a number of test marks in a similar medium. The cast and examination has been done and turned out the suspect used screwdriver and a hammer to kill the victim.
A tool mark is defined as the impression left by the contact of a tool or similar object onto a surface. When the tool or object contact the surface with sufficient force to create an indentation, the pattern of the tool is permanently reproduced onto the surface.
The impressions made by a tool when it comes into contact with the surface are known as tool marks. Depending on the type of impressions, its shapes, and how the mark was created, these tool markings exhibit a variety of features. The tool markings are classified into different categories based on the force with which they were applied. In the discipline of criminalistics, examining the tool markings is significant because it can directly establish a link between a tool mark and the tool that was made. These impressions also help to reconstruct the crime scene. The marks play a very vital role in forensic science as the criminals tend to use tools for committing burglaries or other heinous crimes such as cold-blooded murders. If tool marks from various crimes are compared and found identical, the crimes can be linked. Tool marks are therefore of great importance in a criminal investigation.
Why should we use tool mark impression? Tool marks are important in forensic evidence when solving crime cases and should never be ignored at the crime scene. Explore how any kind of tool can be used for a crime and how different factors such as the shape of the mark can help investigators reach conclusion. Its goal is to establish a link between tool mark and the tool that created it. Such links are crucial in the forensic sciences as tools are often used in criminal activities and can help to identify a criminal. Impression as evidence. When a crime is committed, the criminal always leaves traces of him or herself at the scene. Impression evidence is just what it says it is, evidence that leaves an impression. The impression is from some parts of the criminal, such as his shoes, his tires, his fingerprints, or a tool or instrument that has been used in the scene, and it is left in some materials at the scene, like soil, dust, and cement.